sister neighborhoods. Yay, sister neighborhoods, they're all the way up there. Before I introduce the presenters, I just wanted to let you guys know, sister neighborhoods was the #1 idea that came out of On the Table. In 12 conversations, this idea, well, at least 12 that actually posted their ideas on our website. And these happened in suburbs, in different neighborhoods. I went to 5 meals during On the Table, and I was at 2 events where sister neighborhoods came up. And what I kept hearing over and over again was, we need to care as much about everyone else's neighborhoods as we do our own. And if we can have an international Sister Cities program, why can we not have a local sister neighborhood program? So, you guys do, Wendy, you don't even need to come up. I'll just do your pitch. We brought these folks together. We called them in August and said, hey, we've got this. You want to come and be a collaboratory. By the way, we're going to introduce you to a bunch of other people you do not know. And you had the same idea, so figure it out. So here they are with what they figured out. We are going to have Wendy Raymer present tonight. So Wendy, awesome. I kept looking for you up there.
Hi, everyone. Chicago, born in the stinky weeds on the shores of Lake Michigan, grown by historic characters with big dreams, enriched by the hundreds of cultures and skills of distant lands, and enlivened by fantastic architecture, art, music, festivals, and huge pizzas. Throw a rock in any direction, and you're going to hit somebody with wit, humor, strength, and passion. These are your neighbors. With 77 Chicago neighborhoods and over 300 suburban communities, Chicagoland is a rich tapestry of diverse, vibrant, and tightly woven communities that we love and are so proud of, which is why it's so painful to have all that paired with such segregation, disconnection, and isolation. We are the most divided city in the nation, and that has negative impact for all of us, socially, economically, culturally. The good news is, people in Chicagoland want to connect. We know that many people see the need and have the desire to engage with each other. They just need a way. So how do we get from this to this? Let me introduce to you Sister Neighborhoods. We are redefining what it means to be a neighbor. No longer is it simply the person next door who may or may not shovel their sidewalk. Let's take it further to mean one's fellow human being. Research shows that contact between groups of different backgrounds decreases bias and prejudice, and it builds empathy and community with others. Sister Neighborhood's mission is to give people a way to engage in radical connectivity. We ran this idea by a boatload of people. Everyone loved it. And for every person we spoke with, we got 10 ideas about what it could look like. People were talking pen pals between groups. Let's do pen pals. How about community gardeners exchanging seeds, inviting another neighborhood to your block party? We also spoke with over 40 different nonprofit, government, and private organizations. All of them loved the idea and wanted to participate using the skills and resources that they have. Examples include community murals along the Chicago Riverwalk, camps coming together from different park districts, taking unused space in neighborhoods and hosting pop-up businesses and entertainment from other areas. The list goes on. I'm sure you thought of you yourself just sitting there. The concept exists in all of us, and the ideas are as rich and diverse as the region itself. So how do we take all these great sister neighborhood projects and activities and make them happen? How do we organize them and give them shape and scope? Easy. 4 elements. 1, provoke reflection. This is a media strategy that gets people thinking differently about who their neighbors are. It creates buzz and conversation about how will I connect with my neighbor. 2, enable connection. This is the online and mobile-friendly platform where people can source, support, and celebrate sister neighborhood projects. People can post ideas and like them, get inspired by ideas, basically interact in the virtual space. Inspire collaboration. This is important. This is the human touch. Someone on the ground to facilitate and help neighbors take their ideas from concept to impactful reality. And finally, mobilize action. This is where the tactical and financial support comes in. Microgrants, meeting spaces, places where you can gather together and have working group sessions, whatever practical tools neighbors need to bring their ideas to action. Reflect, connect, collaborate, and act. So, what's an essential element in order to be a neighbor? A home. We're looking for a home, a regional, well-connected, highly respected neighbor who will embrace this concept, house it, and carry it to scale. It needs a home with a similar mission and commitment to connection. To ensure success, we envision 2 employees, including an executive director and an engagement coordinator. A PR and marketing campaign, of course, is essential for sister neighborhoods to launch. Technical support needed to build and maintain the virtual platform. And perhaps most importantly to us, that human touch, a commitment to direct engagement with our diverse communities. So let's unite as a city, as a region, to be much more than a group of neighborhoods, but a group of neighbors. Each sister neighborhood activity will build an ever-growing web of connections, connections that create bonds, build partnerships, and make new friends. And let's begin now. Connect with a new neighbor tonight.
You did it under 5 minutes.
Oh, I
That's
did?
awesome. Come on down, you guys. All right, I'm looking forward to all the suggestions here. Go ahead.
Come on.
Get in closer. All right. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Javier.
I can see why there's so much excitement behind this idea. No, genuinely, it's a really good idea. So that immediately led me to think about engagement, right? So I said, what are the things that bring people together? Maybe there are certain opportunities for pillar activities, things that everyone comes back time and time again for. And I thought about music, art, and food, right? Those things, no matter what neighborhood you're from, and there's the diverse cultures within each neighborhood, how cool would it be to bring them around those 3? That could be an opportunity to continue to increase engagement no matter what market you're in, no matter what neighborhood you're in. That's going to be something that translates across all of them. So that's just my 2 cents.
This was such a good idea. I was really mad that it wasn't mine. So I'm
That's
just
Come
going to
join us.
pretend it is. So I thought the exact same thing as you, that to start, you pick those elements that everybody has in common. And usually music is a good one, food's always a good one, and art's always a good one. And that's an easy kind of simple thing. And then from there, I think sister city relationships, the ones I've seen, and so sister neighborhoods I think would be the same, they evolve from there. You know, those connections are most real when you find these things that are interesting to both neighborhoods and to both sets of people that are driving it. But I do agree that in the beginning you need to kind of match make. And I think I love it. I love it. I think the simple idea of it I really, really love, and then where it could go is exciting.
I think what Jimmy mentioned about looking for kind of pillar events, I mean, I think in a sense you already have the pillar events, the music festivals that are in pretty much every neighborhood of the city during the course of the summer.
True, actually.
If you just buy one of those kind of shelters that we used to use at soccer games and get your logo on those and make a point of being at all those music festivals, that's free marketing that you don't have to pay to, and it would be a gas. And so it might be a way to start getting the word out about what you're doing. The other thing, first of all, high praise to you for kind of those 4 big ideas. And that's a great way to focus you and also focus you on what you want to do and need to do, and tell you what you don't want to do and don't need to do. both of which are extremely important when you're a group that's building on volunteer energy, such as you are. One of them that you mentioned that I think is a big one, I spent a year working with World Business Chicago, which at that point was absorbing Sister Cities. And Sister Cities, as great as it is, one of the things they were beginning to work on was the idea of kind of reaching out into the economic aspect of those Sister Cities relationships. Your idea about micro grants is a really big idea because it will invite funding, it will create real value for people who get involved in what you do, and it can create huge economic opportunity. Micro lending, you know, we've seen models around the world for what the power of micro lending. And so I would say of the ideas you threw out there, besides all the cultural and social interaction that will come naturally, I would really work hard on that microgrants idea because it could really make this a really big, powerful idea in a way that you may not fully appreciate right now.
Just to build on that, what I like and perhaps is different from sister cities to sister neighborhoods. Sister cities tends to be very top-down, and it has limits to it. And what I like about yours that it's bottoms up. And even when you go into the collaboration action, I'm wondering if you want to do both. So start with bottoms up and then also add the top down, particularly for the collaboration action, or if you want to try to also get to that level, bottoms up. But I think being conscious about, I think starting with bottoms up is a great idea, and then figuring out when to add the top down.
In regards to microlending, I think we have a company right here in Chicago, Give Forward.
Yeah.
Both Ethan and Desiree could be really great partners that you can utilize their existing platform to allow you to kind of, leapfrog in regards to the planning and building of this project. But and if you'd like, I'd love to make an intro for you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. We got all
I finally was of use today. Okay, finally.
Just to build on the point about kind of bottoms up versus top down. So I think if it's bottoms up and you're just kind of, it's almost information sharing. It's the marketing, it's the awareness. It's like, did you know there's this other thing in this other neighborhood and you should go and it's easy, or free membership, that sort of thing. So I think that's really cool. I think the top down is more about like more tangible, deeper activities, and it could be, loans or economic. I was like, is it the chambers, right? So a chamber in Inglewood and the chamber in Wicker Park, Bucktown, say we're going to be sister cities. And then, is there a way to kind of pilot that? Pick two, make sure it's easy. So everything we're doing is like make it easy. And make sure they're on, like, for instance, the same L line, right? Like there's an easy transportation connection.
very smart.
Because like all the barriers that are going to keep people from actually taking advantage. And then I was like, well, what else exists already? So I don't know if it's the right example, but like, there's these 2 summer camps that happen in this neighborhood. Let's hold 5 slots next year for kids from our sister neighborhood. And so pick things that already happen and use those as tangible ways to plant the seeds of connection. So then when somebody does see the ad for the food festival or art festival in this other neighborhood that they wouldn't normally go to, they're like, I have a connection there. And maybe that kind of helps facilitate it. So I agree with the kind of both top and bottom approach.
You've got something, I mean, you from the list of kind of partner sponsors that I saw up there, I mean, it looks like you're already connected to sister cities, and I would really lean hard on them and kind of push them beyond their comfort zone in terms of what they want to do for you, because one of the problems, they have a couple of different problems that you can help solve for them. One is that they with that top-down nature that was already talked about, they need to engage their communities more actively. Right. Yep. They haven't been as successful as they would like to be in doing that. You can bring communities to them and to their activities in a way that they haven't so far succeeded in doing. The other thing, again, going back to this microlending thing, is they're looking for a way to make this more than just cultural exchange, to make it more of a business exchange. And if you are able to build out that idea of creating economic activity, it again would solve a problem for them and also help the city. The city, which is their primary funder, looks at them and says, what do we really get out of this? We get people from foreign countries coming to visit and they have a great time, but what does that really do for the city? Well, you can answer that question for them. And so I would really lean heavily on them to kind of broaden their vision of what you are as a partner for that organization.
And to follow up on that suggestion, the data is going to be so valuable. And once you get crossover between neighborhoods, having the ability to point back to say, well, this is the result of having, just neighborhoods involved, that's going to show more value as you continue to scale.
I have another build on the L line. I really love that. I think actually L stops might be a way to make the whole thing visible, because you can actually have one community than the other. One neighborhood, the other neighborhood adopt the L stop and kind of showcase it.
There could
It
be a
makes it so
whole
visible.
campaign on just that alone.
Already has an idea.
It's a great idea. That's what it's Here you go. Just keep taking it.
Yes.
Those trains wrapped with the great, beautiful images from each community, and
it'd be
then the
huge.
success stories started emerging from it that are celebrated there,
great.
small ones and big ones, and then when the micro-lending platform comes up, it's like,
And there is already a real connection, the L. I mean, there is a physical connection.
Yeah.
it's physical. People get things that are very physical, and then the neighbors themselves will bring the emotional component to it. I think it's
I would compliment you on the quality of the images that you're showing, and I would say, continue to place great value and apply significant pride to that, because it's such a beautiful thing in this city when you do see the cultural mix that we have here, and continue to work on that, because that's going to really help sell you what you're trying to do.
I remember, most of you weren't born yet, in 1994 when we had the World Cup here, I ran city services, and you were very involved, but communities adopted the teams from other countries. And some of them, the teams didn't have a ton of money and were staying in people's houses, and it was like crazy, and we were going to dinners in people's houses, and it was just this feel of the city. Was the only other time that you see that in that big mass like that is the marathon. When you watch the marathon on TV and you see all this, that it's every corner of the city that has this vibrancy to it, and I don't think many of us get out enough. And I think when the crime statistics and the crime stories overtake it, it tends to make people stay inside. And so having something structured to get people out, and then it becomes very grassroots. It's just fantastic.
Great job.
I'm so glad I thought of it.
Work, Katie. You guys, they had the most fun because they got to do a lot of their team meetings at the Hideout.